Johnny Fontana, Real World NF Scorpio, back with another video.
Talk to me about this concept of these unknown unknowns, because they're motivated by different things, right?
Right. Well, and it's really the unknown unknowns are the overlap of the unknowns. Now, what the hell am I talking about when I say that? Yeah. You're hiding cards. Every negotiation, I walk to the table, I get stuff I'm not telling you.
Today, I want to discuss why I don't read my comments and why I don't debate personality, right? Before we do that, let me go ahead and read you an email by a sub. Nonetheless, he writes, "Hey, just a sub to your channel and an INFJ looking for a perspective. I'm a big fan of your videos you put out and you've given me a lot of food for thought. I just wanted to ask if it was possible to link the people you post in your videos into your description. I find a lot of them to be extremely interesting and I love to go through some of their content as well. I think it would also be helpful to your viewers in order to gain some more input from these people to understand your topics further. I think the way you use some of their dialogue to be brilliant at explaining what you mean by what you say, as it adds a layer of understanding to what your topic in that point of the video is. I would really appreciate it, as it would help my journey to understand and bring perspective to what you're saying and give me somewhere else to go while waiting your next videos. Thanks for your time." And of course, he asked me for particular names and of particular videos and stems, and I give it. Now, let me explain to you that part, right? In terms of giving links of videos in my description and so forth and so on. The reason why I'm hesitant with that, although I give out my information, so if you want, particular videos or if you want particular names, you email me and then I give you the names. I'm not stingy when it comes to that, right? But there's a process. It's the same thing with my DJ process, right? It's the same thing. There's a sense of entitlement, and I'm not saying any one of you are, or even Johnny, but I'm saying just generally speaking, in that, let's say on my DJ channel, or even when you watch other music videos, DJ mix videos, you have people who come on and just say, "Track list, please." Like, there's a sense of entitlement that the person is supposed to automatically give you the list of all the songs that he played, when in reality that's the lore, right? That's what a DJ uses in order to sort of gain your following, your interest.
Every negotiation.
Even
with me and my kid trying to get him to go to bed.
Right.
Right.
There's stuff that you're thinking about that's valuable to you.
Right. And same with him, the kid.
Everybody. Yeah.
Right. So I'm thinking that the last thing I want him to do is bang his head on the ground until it bleeds. So he's got a card on me. And then maybe he's thinking, if Dad could just let me watch the movie and go to bed, then I'd be happy to go to bed. And so we both have these maybe unknown areas, I don't know if I'm explaining that right, where if we knew that, we might be able to have power over one another or come to a better deal.
Well, you're always thinking about what's coming in the future, too.
Clear, I mean, it's in everyone's interest to kind of open up and show each other the cards, or it's not like I'm going to get you and then I'm going to win, but it really, I mean, is it really in both parties' interest if they can discover each of their unknowns?
Yeah, because it depends upon whether or not you take yourself hostage. But first of all, the best deal possible, we both got to show our cards, because we never know how those cards overlap. And we'll never get to the best deal we could possibly make unless we open up. Now, maybe we'll make some acceptable deals. Maybe we'll make survivable deals. But without opening up, we cannot maximize the opportunity. And then that requires trust.
If you contact me, if you email me, right, and you say, "Hey, listen, hey, I've been listening to your stuff, whatever, I like a name of that, or I like a link to that video," fine. Same thing with the DJ. When someone emails me, "Hey, Johnny, I appreciate, what you're doing. Hey, thanks a lot. Do you mind sending me that song, or give me the name of that song?" I'll even send that person the song itself. Because again, there's like a process, right? You don't walk into someone's home and ask for a drink. You share pleasantries. "Hey, how you doing? How's everything? Hey, by the way, do you have any, Coke in the fridge?" You know what I'm saying to you? You got to get to know each other. You know, say hello first, not just track list, track list, please. And it happens on my DJ thing. It's like, dude, like at least say hello first. You know, like wipe your feet first. That said, when it comes to comments and also debating personality, now here's again now where I'm going to start using some of my supporting material. I present myself as an authority based on my experiences relative to the INFJ personality. Not everyone relates, but again, it's to those who relate to me. My thing is that the reason why I'm providing these videos is because of my experience that I am imparting onto others. Not necessarily imposing my views, but just saying, hey, this is what I've experienced, this is what I've noticed based on my extensive career experiences, my travels, my associations in different areas. And these are the sort of things that, I've come to understand in terms of perspective and context. And here you go, boom. And here's the supporting material that helps me, right? That I've researched, I've done the research for you, and I'm providing you this, right? So I present myself as an authority in that area, not all things, right? Just that particular area. And when it comes to DJing, it's like same thing. I present myself in authority. However, clip one, go.
Education is not democratic. It's authoritative. It's authoritarian. It's dictatorial. What we are trying to do, we are trying to take the tenets of democracy: one man, one vote, everyone is equal. By the way, this I never understood as well. Why is everyone equal in democracy? I don't understand it. I think it's an utterly nauseating, mind-fucking sick concept, in my view. Not everyone is equal, and not everyone should have equal vote. Absolutely not. But let's assume for a minute. They adopted this tenet in education and in online and so on. Everything has been democratized in the worst sense of the word.
Yeah.
All people are created equal in some other senses. There is no debate about this. All people are created equal as far as their right to live, right to life. Well, maybe with my exception. All people are created equal as far as access to opportunities. They should have equal access to opportunities, etc., etc. We all know the list of uncontested equalities. But it is absolutely untrue that all people are created equal either in their capacity to acquire knowledge and verify the truth, or in their willingness to do so.
Sure.
It's utterly untrue. Why did we develop this mass delusion? And we did. Why did we do that? So first of all, there is, as I said, the issue of space. Everyone has equal space. And so if I have the same space like a university, automatically it might be translated or interpreted by some people that I'm as authoritative as the university,
Right.
as erudite as the university, with the same background, the same history, and so on.
I like the idea of interactive art as long as it's controlled from above, as long as the artist knows what they're doing, as long as there is a clear separation between the artist and the audience. When you fall into the trap of confusing the artist and the audience, when you believe that the audience knows more than the artist, is more authoritative, is more creative, is more talented, then art ends. Then you have something else. You have cacophony. You have simply an apology for radical democratization. And it's wrong to confuse democratization in cultural or political terms with the creation of art, which is, by definition, for better or worse, an elitist business.
And now, authority is critical for truth and knowledge. Critical. It is a logical fallacy to accept truth and knowledge only by virtue of authority. But there is no possibility to have truth and knowledge without authority.
Right.
None. You go to a doctor, he is an authority. Otherwise, he will not be treated properly. And indeed, that's one of the major battlefields, where millions and tens of millions of people are challenging doctors and telling them, This is your version, and this is my version. I can treat cancer with herbs
And crystals.
and crystals, and you can treat cancer with chemotherapy. That's what you say. Maybe. I mean,
It's equally valid.
it's equally valid. What's so? And this is result of.
You see what I'm saying to you? So, and again, and it would also, with that's why I don't go into the comment sections for my personality videos. I go into the comment sections for my DJ because, again, you want to challenge me, you can't, because I'm telling you this is how it works. There are multiple ways to approach it, but at the end of the day, I'm showing you that in order to achieve this, you must go from A to B. And if you know it all, then why are you watching my videos? You see what I'm saying to you? I'm showing you because this is how I've learned it. This is what goes over well, and this is how you do it because it's more technical. It's you go from A to B. This is how you do it. There are different ways to go about it, but essentially you must arrive and you must, coordinate these efforts in order to achieve that technically. You see what I'm saying to you? And it's the same thing as like IT work, computer work. Like you must, when it comes to network programs, there's certain steps that you take. Point A, point B, point C. I cannot come and say, well, no, I think you're incorrect there. Yeah, I can take a different approach, but at the end of the day, you must meet at that particular endpoint because again, there is no other way to achieve that result. You see what I'm saying to you? So that's why in the comment section, it's like I go down there and people are calling other people this, or people are saying this about someone. It's like, dude, you're going to call me ENFJ? Fine, you call me in ENFJ, but how am I going to argue with you? You know what I'm saying to you? Like, how? Why am I going to waste my time with that? You know what I'm saying to you?
I told you the story of my authority on inverted narcissism, somatic narcissism, and cerebral narcissism challenged. Why I'm saying that I'm an authority on this subject, perhaps the authority, for the simple reason that I invented these concepts. But I'm challenged daily. Daily.
I've had people come to me and say that you don't understand inverted narcissism.
Yes.
And they tell me this is why he doesn't understand it. I'm like, he invented that. So
Yes, I'm challenged daily on this. Some of these people know that I invented, but
that's bizarre.
yes, but I'm still challenged. But I'm mentioning this as an anecdote because here is a clear case where I can claim authority.
Yeah.
I mean, if I say I'm authority in physics, some people agree, not agree. By the way, people who have no training in physics, a vast majority of people who commented on the chronon field part of the interview, if not all of them, had no background in physics whatsoever. Yet they felt absolutely
Entitled to
qualified
wade in. Yeah.
to argue that it's wrong, it's right. I mean, it's utterly sick and dangerous.
So I just wanted to just explain that. And it's not necessarily for views or anything like that, but it's just for subscribers and for people to get an understanding, right? Again, it's like you can't compare with me if you don't have my experiences. Like if I have all these experiences, again, it's not tooting my horn, but for people who haven't watched, I've lived in 7 different countries. I've lived in all black neighborhoods, all white neighborhoods. I've policed all black neighborhoods, all white neighborhoods. I speak 3 languages. I have kids. I've been, a federal employee in DC. I worked in a DC environment. I worked in Miami with a whole bunch of crooked people where I was always getting got for every little thing, right? Customer service was horrendous. I've suffered foreclosures. I've had 2 cars repossessed. I've had a business. I've owned my business where I purchased, and I've had to, when my car was being repossessed, I had to ride my bike 6 miles to and 6 miles back. I had to sell my gold chain in order to make my rent. You see what I'm saying to you? Like all of these experiences, right? And having to deal with different personalities while I'm, as a personal trainer, whether you be an elderly, whether it be, a youth, and I've had to study the different, approaches. Okay, how do I deal with someone who's older, who's been sitting all day long? Or do I want to have them come in into the gym and sit again and actually perform exercises in one plane of motion rather than a transverse, multi-plane, so that they can now utilize that during their daily routines, right? instead of just sitting, because if they've been sitting all day and I want to just have them do leg lifts in that one plane of motion, right, up and down. No, I need for them to be multi-dynamic and be able to move around and work on their core and so forth and so on. But I had to learn that. I had to be able to, in order to sell, I had to learn about personalities and emotions and how to gauge people and how to tap into their, into their vulnerabilities and all that stuff. And it took a while because I don't like asking for money. And so now it'd be hard for me to do it because, again, if you don't use it, you lose it. Being a police officer, walking into people's homes during the domestic violence, when I first started, I couldn't do it. Imagine now you being like 25, 26, and you're telling the 40, 50-year-old how to live their lives. No, you go over there, you go over there, you take a walk. I'm going to take you to jail. And then, having kids watch me take their mothers to jail because they were throwing bleach on their child, or during a Christmas, dinner where the father's swinging a machete at the son, and I have to take that person to jail. Like, all of these things I've had to experience, dead bodies on a weekly basis. Yes, it hurt me. It was very tough. Again, this is not about me, but I'm explaining to you that when you take all of this, all of these experiences, right, you cannot compare me to a 20-year-old. You see what I'm saying to you? I have all of this, and I'm going to impart onto you, and I'm going to provide you that experience, not from a technical aspect, not from a cognitive function, this, TI, SE, whatever, from a basic point. It's going to be from real world experiences. This is what happens when you have an employee who is just not listening to you. How do you get that person to listen, who's got a very volatile A-type personality? How do you navigate where you don't exactly take the whole, hey, sir, versus you can't be too rough on that person because that person's not going to respond. They're going to shut down. Or how do you deal with like very, feeble and emotional type employees where you can't take the aggressive approach and they're not going to respect you and respond to you if you take the more, weak approach. So you have to have that balance. You know what I'm saying to you? These are the things that you learn on the job. And that not only you learn on the job, but while you're learning, you're studying. You see, you're like, okay, how do I do this? How do I approach? How do I whatever? And you're reading and you're watching YouTube videos and you're connecting dots. Oh, that's why these people are like this. Oh, so an INFJ will sort of respond to this, or an INFP will like this. Oh, that's why these ESTJs are so hyper and do this. Okay, so then this is how I can navigate. And if I want to get to this sweet spot, I can now test their waters and figure out. And while you're going through these processes, you're testing. You're saying, okay, let me see if this works. Boom. Knowing you're calculating all these things. Let me see if this works. Boom. Oh, that's a good reaction. I'm going to use it next time. Next time it doesn't work. Oh, okay, fine. You see what I'm saying to you? These things, again, not everyone is willing to put in the effort and to work on these things because it takes time. It's very emotionally taxing. So that's something that you have to consider, that a 23-year-old who has less, experience is not going to be able to provide you this information. So why am I going to sit there and argue with him on the technicalities of the SC versus SI versus TI versus TE? Fine, dude, you can sit in your corner and create your own diagram and your systems. I'm sitting here in the real world and saying, yo, that diagram that you wrote is not going to work on this individual. Again, I'm going to repeat myself. Let me just calm down. Clip 3, go.
And this is also part of malignant egalitarianism, because if we are all created equal, we are also created equal not only in space, not only in intellect, but also in time. The fact that you are 57, or I'm 57, gives me no advantage over you. Otherwise, we will not be equal.
Yeah.
We cannot be equal if my age gives me some advantage. If my memory gives me, because by definition at 57, I have more memory than you. Like, period. It's defined. So automatically, I'm superior to you. This has to be immediately eliminated. I mean, it's a serious threat to malignant egalitarianism. So history itself and memory are eliminated. I think now perhaps it's better, and you can understand better why I consider this a threat to the species.
Absolutely.
What are we without history, without memory? No memory, no identity. Without identity, without knowledge, and without authority to distinguish and discern what is true, what is not. What are we without these things? Chimpanzees.
Yeah.
And not very well equipped chimpanzees. We don't have fur, we don't have muscles, we don't have,
Yeah.
badly designed chimpanzees.
You see what I'm saying to you? So, but anyway. And this brings me to my last point. I posted on Reddit, right? I said, why do INFJs, self-identified INFJs, feel as if they are no longer INFJs, or they get this feeling of like, well, maybe I'm not INFJs. Why do they doubt themselves? Why do they question themselves, right? And again, because I have a working theory, and that working theory is that, okay, just like I did, I read the INFJ Bible, whatever it is, online, whatever sources you get it from. But generally speaking, you can decipher, okay, what's the main meat, right? You know, and then you go on to the actual forums, especially Reddit or most INFJ forums, because I don't go into any other ones. And what do you see? You see people just finding themselves endlessly. There's nothing wrong with that.
If you analyze text on the internet, for example, in support groups and so on, they are utterly pathologized. I mean, people express extreme depression. They are utterly desperate, extreme desperation. Many people say it would be better if everything ended. There's a lot of doomsayers, and I mean, and very, very, very few, even in happy forums like New Moms. You go to New Mom forum. I had the occasion to visit many New Mom forums for reasons we're not going to. And I read consequently thousands of posts, thousands literally, because I spent like months. And listen, not one happy post. Not one happy post. Wonderful, I'm going to have a child, it's so great. You know, to bring a child to this world, drugs, this, that, vaccination, fuck him up, autism. I don't feel good, I feel this, I feel that, my stomach, my eyes, my head. I mean, not one, no moment of happiness, no joy of anything. You know, New Moms, it's the most happy thing should be.
Okay, being able to hold multiple concepts in our minds. There's nothing with finding yourselves. However, it's to the point where it's like I'm seeing so much of people finding themselves, and there's no there's less and less of like providing that higher level of understanding, right? Yeah, you can sit here and talk to me about, you know, why do INFJs leave relationships? Why do INFJs, you know, feel lonely? Why do INFJs? That's all basic stuff. That's nothing that, you know, the average person can't read or watch a YouTube video and then provide commentary on that. That's easy stuff. That's great. But there comes a point in time where I want to know, how do I navigate this person who comes in, and I want to know, why is he so volatile? But then when after like he's so high and then he drops, right? And then he sort of like he just leaves. He just sort of crashes, right? What is it? What's going through his mind? Why? And you start connecting the dots. You say, oh, well, what's your former background? Oh, you used to do that. Ah, no wonder why. So you were a high flyer, but you can only sustain that high level of aggression for so long before you just shut down. And then when you're shutting down, that's when you are in your depressed mode, because you need something to keep you going. And that's why when you're walking around with your monster, right, mixed with your medication, again, I'm speaking in reference to someone that I know, it gets you all crazy and you start coming up with all these ideas and so forth and so on, and you're not really realizing that people are not ready for that. But you're in your mind, you're so hyped up on that caffeine from the monster that you're just like, and people be like, dude, like, it's too much. But you understand where that comes from. But I already knew that there was something there. And then when you report to me that, yeah, I take medication because I almost put a gun to my head, I'm not surprised, because I already saw that coming. You see what I'm saying to you? That's that higher level of understanding, right? So when I go online and I ask that question, and not only that, I throw the rock and I say specifically, I know that I'm coming across as aggressive. It's just me being passionate. High context, it's saying, dude, I know I'm sounding kind of arrogant. I'm sounding kind of like aggressive, but I'm just basically passionate right now. So forgive me. FE courtesy. I specifically wrote that. And I also wrote, if you are not understanding where I'm coming from because of my working theory of saying, hey, I think a lot of people are doubting their INFJness because they've come into these forums and they're like, I don't relate to this, finding myself. Yeah, I see where you are, but I'm in a different space right now. I'm not 20, I'm not 40, I'm not 50, I'm not 13, I'm not 15. Different people come in different ranges. I've had different experiences, right? So I'm not identifying with this. I want to be able to move from the past. I want to be able to live like a regular INFJ where I'm not, I have control over these FEs where I'm not being so sensitive and emotional and feeling that I have to blurt out everything, right? That I can sort of step back and say, well, this is not the right time to say it. You know what I'm saying to you? I want to learn how to do that. And I said, if you don't understand where I'm coming from with this, then probably you need a little bit more social exposure. You need to, experience more different and diverse, social interactions, you know? And then the first response, or one of the first responses was like, well, you're coming across, I don't get what you're coming from. You're coming across arrogant. And my thing is, dude, I already told you.
And that's how we get in the side door.
Right. I think you say if you try to call out a negative that's not there, you won't plant it, which is I think you're saying there. But if you try to deny a negative that's not there, then you plant that
The
thing.
2 millimeter shift. And it's crazy because everybody's used to denying negatives. Because that oil guy, if we hadn't taught him, he might have said, you know what, I don't want us to look like everybody else. I don't want you to think that we're like every other salesperson.
Right.
And that's when the guy goes, you're denying it. You must be like them.
Right.
Otherwise you wouldn't deny it. The gut reaction is you deny what you're afraid of. But when you say, we probably look like everybody else, then now suddenly I look accountable to you. I look honest. I look fearless to you.
I did it purposely. I threw in the rock. I was aggressive. But then I also wrote in my thread that I was coming across aggressively, but I apologize. Instead of being low context and saying, hey, I'm sorry, I don't mean to really disturb you. I know I'm coming across aggressively, but I know it may hurt some feelings or you may get triggered, but I'm just, So, and I said, listen, I did it purposely. And then the automatic response from that is like, send me a link of I am smarter than you. Again, but where does that come from? Where does that? Because I was trying to figure out myself, why? How is it that I put everything on there? I excuse myself. I apologize in advance for being aggressive, right? And I even told you that it was done purposely. And you come back here. Clip number, were we 3 or 4? Whichever one. Go.
So narcissism has a few strands. First of all, there is what I call identicalness. They believe that we are all identical. Then there is omniscience. Omniscience got a boost. Omniscience is a pathological defense in narcissism. It's the narcissist's belief that he knows everything, that you cannot teach him anything, and therefore narcissists have resistance to learning because they perceive learning as narcissistic injury, as a challenge to their omniscience. This used to be the preserve of narcissists. Most people would have said, yes, I really don't know many things. Yes, please teach me. I would like to learn. What changed that is the internet. Because suddenly everyone knows everything because everyone has access to Wikipedia. That's it.
Yeah.
Now everyone is omniscient with a single click of the mouse or even with a tap of the screen. You want to know what happened in 1066, it's a tap away. You want to, so in which sense, for example, a professor of history is superior to you? He knows what happened in 1066, and so could you. You're both of equal knowledge. Only you chose not to realize this potential, but it exists.
Right.
And it doesn't require a lot of work. It's very easy.
Yeah.
So you're omniscient by definition.
Yeah.
Omniscient by definition.
You see what I'm saying to you? So it's like, but it happens all the time too, because even like on other forums, like pick your forum, pick your culture. You have a lot of people who prey on the ignorant, right? So you have a lot of people who are very reactive. They're not proactive. They don't want to learn. They don't like the same people who are always responding. You don't see them go on and post questions. Hey, I want to know about this. I want to know about that. So, for example, in the DJ forum myself, today on Reddit, I posted, hey, I want to know, where do you think the culture is going? Beyond your immediate scene, just as a whole, big picture, what do you think? Do you think the whole concept of producing in order to get gigs, is that working? Is it this, is that, whatever? Again, I want to get a feel, and I specifically said, I don't want it to be a session by where people are schooling others, because again, it needs to be where people are learning. Like, I want to know from veterans, from young, what's your experiences? Because I want to learn as well. So it's not just about me only giving advice, but a lot of people on these forums, that's what they do. They like to prey on the ignorant. They prey on the ignorant, and that's why, because they feel that they know everything. So as soon as you ask a question, they'll answer as if they're teaching you, as if you're a newbie. And I'm like, yo, dude, like, I'm just asking because I want to know. And it's a good conversation for everyone to have and for everyone to input. And I will learn something from different people as well. But no, they take this approach of what have you. And if I take the approach of like, okay, here we go. This is what I'm noticing. This is what I'm seeing. This is what I'm whatever. People get outraged and they're like, oh, you're so ignorant. I can't believe I don't even know what I'm reading here. It's like, because I'm not playing the ignorant fool. I'm not the one who's, oh, I need to know, like, how do you do this or how do you do that? Like, so because I'm not coming from that point, it's like they jump on me because these people don't ask questions because for them they're too good to ask questions. And that's what I get. So that's why I don't go into the comment sections, especially with hair and so forth, because again, it's not for me, but it was just so funny how, like, I was reading these comments from people responding to me, and of course the other people who, I forget that I forget her name or his name, but that person was able to respond. Yeah, that person said that person came across as arrogant and whatever, but again, it was purposely done. And ever since then, I even emailed that person directly, and I was like, hey, I even said, hey, listen, here's my YouTube channel. Here we go. I said, I'm not going to debate you. I'm not going to whatever, but here you go. Listen, if you like it, if it sticks, if it doesn't, then it's fine. But here you go. If you want to ask me questions, I'm here for you at any time of the night, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. If you need my number, I have a second number that you can call me. We can talk. I'm open. You know what I'm saying to you? I may not have all the answers, but at least I can listen to you and I can actually provide you a source of where you can get that information. Or if I don't know, I'll say, listen, hold on. I'll do the research for you and then I'll give you as much information as I can because I don't know everything. You see what I'm saying to you? But again, and that's why I don't. Okay, I know I made this into like a 30-something video explaining why I don't read comments, but I think I needed to provide perspective, and I think it's very important, and I think some people may have gotten something out of it. But other than that, I'm going to make a video. My next video is going to be on the truth and the powers of FE. That's going to be a good one because I think a lot of people, and I've been doing research, because again, I do research myself, and I'm doing research and I'm watching a lot of the FE videos. People get it. It's the basics, there's nothing wrong with that. But it's a lot of the people are given FE from people who may not have FE, who are not dominant in it, or who haven't really cultivated that next level of FE-ness. Until then, Johnny Fontana, Real World NF Scorpio, we out.